the one, not the one and only, but definitely the genuine article, the Life Be Life in podcast. Okay. And you are hosted by none other than your favorite fat freckled man, your favorite coach's favorite coach, the big dog himself. Who? Coach Nine in the building. Give it up for me. Give it up for me. Yes. We are here on February 12th, a couple of days before Valentine's Day to show you guys some love, you know what I'm saying? And produce a good episode. But of course, you are not blind if you are watching this. So that means you see our special guest, who probably we're going to stop treating like a guest after a while because you're going to be here long enough. But definitely we would refer to her as, the special host of the segment that we are calling Sex Ed for Grown-Ups. The one, the only, Miss Tommy.
Hey,
How you feeling, lady?
I'm cool. For a second, I thought you was coming for the fact that I wear glasses, and I was like, "Dang, new friend, out the gate, we just gonna start bidding on each other today."
Man, I don't even move like that with you. Hold on. I don't even move like that with you. No, imagine me getting smoke in the middle of my own recording session. No, thank you.
Cause listen, you know that would have triggered me.
No, thank you. I'm cool on that. I don't know where you got that impression.
You said blind.
Huh?
You said blind, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh, all right. Definitely no pun intended. Definitely no
yeah,"
pun
cause you know I
intended.
can't see not a thing without these.
Oh man. Dang, talk about accidental crossfire. Um,
Listen, funny story. I mean, and it fits with the topic. One of my former partners, actually an ex of mine, used to try and take my glasses off when we were having sex, and like that would immediately end the mood for me because nigga, I can't see. Stop that.
that's
I
hilarious.
can't focus.
That's hilarious. All right, so of course, while I check the stream, just tell me how you been since we last saw you. What's been going
Well,
on?
outside of my newest injury,
Y-
because life is clumsy. Life is clumsy. All is well. Almost amputated my whole finger at work, but we did.
Oh man. Also, side note, guys. As you know, I'm a proud member of Podcast Link Philly, and about a month or so ago, almost a month or so ago, no, just about, we did a collaboration with my guys that you see me with on Fridays, the Yo Cuz podcast, and shout out to them. But that episode drops tonight on the
Tuesday.
Mr. Know It All, on the Mr. Know It All network. So after you're done kicking it with us tonight, soaking up some free game, go ahead over to the Mr. Know It All network. Mr. Know It All on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Go on over there to bro and check out the collaboration that we did with the folks from DC. You know what I'm saying? This is a DC Philly connection. Go catch another DC Philly connection. You know what I'm saying? Either way, they both lit. You heard me? All right, so shout out to Yo Cuss Podcast and that and podcast link Philly. Make good things happen. In state, out of state. Y'all know how we do. So y'all get to see me twice in one night, technically. That's fire to me. Um, but listen, I told y'all before that this is something that I'm really handing over to my homie. So y'all ain't gonna hear too much from me from the rest of the night outside of maybe a question here, a question there, and definitely feel free to get active in the chat if you have any questions, comments, things to add. Absolutely feel free to get active in the chat and drop your lines and say what you gotta say. You heard me? But I now turn the class over to Miss Tommy.
So, first, I told y'all I was going to get y'all acclimated to two things. First, we stop faking orgasms. And this is important for tonight because we're leading into Love Day. So, as we lead into Love Day, everybody should be pleasured. And so, what does that mean? We gonna be real with ourselves and our partners and stop faking orgasms. Second thing, we don't kink shame here. If it's something you don't understand or it's not your twist, that's okay. But we don't kink shame in this space. Tonight, this is a safe space. And so we do our best to be welcoming. The only kink we shame is race play because we don't know what the fuck they doing over there. That's their business. But we shame them. And nothing to do with kids. But I felt like that should be the unspoken. Um, so with that said, something that has been flowing fluidly across my timeline and on the social medias has been conversations of women specifically who have gone into relationships and partnerships in practicing abstinence, and then they get married and it's D-Day, if you will, and the man is underperforming, or he is into things that they're not into, and now they're frustrated because they feel a pressure to do something that's not their twist. I've also seen in the space of conversation people saying this is why purity culture is a myth. This is why purity culture is a scam. And I can see where people come from if they don't understand purity culture, right? Which is one's Christian belief or religious belief in abstaining or remaining celibate until they're with their partner. But tonight, I'm not focusing on that space of it because argue with your mamas about that. We're going to talk about the communication that leads to that space, which also leads us to conversations about intimacy and how to make your Valentine's Day with your boo special. So, first and foremost, communication is key. A lot of times, especially in our community, conversations of sex is taboo. You may get the, for men, don't go out there creating no babies, wrap it up conversation, right? And for women, it's also don't go out there and bring home no babies or don't be in these streets fast. But it's not any real conversation on what this looks like, why you should abstain, how to kind of remove the space of curiosity. Because let's be honest, a lot of people's sexual encounters was because of the curiosity of sex. What it is, the fact that there is this huge thing that they're like, don't do it. And so, what do you do when you are curious about this thing, right? And even once we start having sex, there is still this unspoken thing. It's like this barrier there where men may talk about it with their homeboys about who they smash, but are y'all really having conversations about what you want or technique or any of those types of things that move along the space of comfort, the space of trust in the area of sex? Women were a little more vocal when it comes to sexual conversations, but also we're reserved because we may be embarrassed about things that we have tolerated, things that we've tried, things that we may be interested in, any number of those things. And so we still don't have full conversations about what sex is in the space of what we need, right? And properly communicating with your partner, because let me be honest, if you can't have a proper conversation with your partner about sex, and this is going to be hard for some people to hear, you may not need to be with them because your partner needs to be the safest person you can be with, right? They need to be the person that you feel absolutely safe Conversing with about your needs, what you are feeling safe about, what you're feeling unsafe about, what you need in that moment. And those kind of conversations don't just start with, I need you to blow my back out. Sex has a precursor, which is also the intimacy factor, right? So, starting in that space, you need to have an intimate dialogue that feels safe for both people. Now, let me say this: when your partner has a conversation with you about what it is that they need, do not make them feel uncomfortable. I need to say that again. When your partner comes to you because they feel safe or they're hoping to feel safe to have a conversation with you about their sexual needs, do not make them feel uncomfortable. Do not shame them unless, what are the two things that we shame? Race play and anything dealing with kids. And if it's something to do with kids, please report them to the nearest police station. Because we don't protect pedophiles over here. But anything else beyond those two things, ask questions. Tell them maybe you need a moment. Because some things you may need a moment. If you've never experienced it, if this is something that the only time you've heard about it is in naughty novels that you maybe read or porn, because let's be honest, a lot of our introduction to a lot of things is through porn. And porn is not the safest space to learn about all things, right? Because it's over dramatized. And so you don't want to reenact something that's over dramatized on your partner without the proper conversation. So if it is something that your partner introduces and the only time you've seen it is in the space of porn or a book that you've read, that also is over dramatized in the space of writing, right? Take a moment. Say to your partner, hey, that's a little much. I need a second. I need to wrap my mind around what you're asking of me. And I want to come back with questions. Or I'm not familiar with that. I'm slightly uncomfortable, but I don't want to shut you down. Can we take a knee for a second? Whatever that looks like for you, it's okay to ask for space to process, but you don't shame it because it took a lot of courage and a lot of, gumption to say, hey, these are things that I'd like to try. This is something that I'm into. And so the problem is that oftentimes we get into these relationships. So in the case of these women who were abstinent and then got with partners who either were facing ED and don't believe in oral sex, or their other partner is a little more experienced and more hypersexual than they are, that creates a barrier in this space of marriage where you're supposed to be nesting. So it's important to have these conversations that aren't centered in you're on a date and now you're feeling like, oh, you're just trying to get in my pants. That's not all the time the case of somebody wanting to have an adult conversation or a safe conversation about sex. I personally, when I meet new partners, it's not the first date and it's definitely not the second date, but as I see this progressing, I then introduce the conversation of sex in the space of, can you explain to me what sex looks like to you? Can you tell me what intimacy looks like to you? Because your definition of those two things can be highly different from what that looks like to me. So I just want to encourage us as we go on this journey together, in grown up sex ed, that the
It's actually a
start of
great
this
question to ask. That's a great way to ask it too.
would, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, what does sex look like for you? What does intimacy mean to you? I think those are great starter questions.
They are, because it's not overly provocative. It's
Mm-hmm.
not putting one in a space that tonight you finna get some. It's just
Mm-hmm.
an door opener to what that expectation looks like to you once we get there.
Yeah.
And then intimacy is an important conversation because for those of us whose love language is physical touch, I am
Mm-hmm.
not one of them. But for those who are, intimacy really is the space of being cuddled up underneath their partner,
Right.
some form of hand holding, whatever that looks like. That is intimacy to them.
Yeah.
Um, Something that I encourage people to do after a long day and you are home with your partner, be it someone you're married to, somebody you're dating, whatever that looks like, right before you crash out. Now, this cannot happen every night. It's not realistic. I am working full time. I am in school. By the time I get in my bed, I have 5 minutes before I crash out. That is enough time for me to remember to take my glasses off and go to sleep.
Right.
I mean, that's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
But something that I had begun doing when I was dating, I would carve out time where my partner and I would be in bed, not laying down. We would face one another, legs touching, and talk about our day. We are literally in front of each other, legs touching. Now I'm fat and I lose circulation quickly in my legs. So I'm not sitting Indian style
Right.
because I need to be able to get up from that position, right?
Facts.
But I do sit legs extended over my partner's legs to make sure that we're touching and literally face to face with one another. And we just talk about our day. It's nothing more than that. We talk about our day, how busy it was, something that may have frustrated us, what didn't frustrate us, how successful the day was, if we're feeling overwhelmed, things that may be making us nervous or scared, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be a long time, 10 to 15 minutes. But what this
Right.
does is it gives you time for your partner and you to decompress with one another. It creates a very safe and intimate space with one another where it's not derived around we finna get started. Now, if you get busy afterwards, that's fine, but that's not the focus of the exercise. The focus
Understood.
of the exercise is to create an intimate space that feels safe for you and your partner to kind of unwind with one another, where you're not talking at each other, but you are purposefully talking to one another.
I like that.
So, those are things that you can do to create an intimate space with your partner where it is, again, 10 to 15 minutes. You take 5 minutes, they take 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you can go to bed. You
Facts.
can go to bed. Or you can eat ice cream. If maybe after all of that it was a little heavy and you need some ice cream, I'm not here to judge. Unless it's Cherry Garcia, and then I might a little
Hey,
bit.
hey, come on, man. Not,
Because whose grandma been stocking your Briar's
not
pantry with Cherry Garcia?
Cherry Garcia, man. Shout out to Ben and Jerry.
Listen, my grandmother was a Cherry Garcia ice cream eater, and I only saw her get Briar's because she said that was the best flavor. And
Okay.
I'd be like, but grandma, can we please have chocolate? Just once. Maybe. I don't know. So if you saw chocolate in her freezer, it was a treat because cherry was it. My grandfather hated it, but he ate it because pause on that, by the way. But yeah, he definitely he didn't fuss too much because he was like, it makes your grandma happy.
Yeah, I got a taste for it. Pause. You know,
You go right ahead.
let's go give me some Cherry
Um,
Garcia.
Listen, for the
You go ahead. I'm
nostalgia of
hopping
it,
in the
I'd
car.
buy
You got the rest of the episode. I'm gonna hop in the car, head to the market, and give me some Cherry Garcia and be back.
it. You can have it.
You
For
got
the
this.
again, for the nostalgia of it, have at it. But that's it for me. Um, but yes, so one of the things again that I want to highlight is communication is key with your partner in delving into what is important to you and what isn't. And let's talk about the importance of what you like and what you don't like, because so many people don't really know what they like. Also, that's okay. I encourage you to read. Find a picture book. I don't say that to be funny. Find a picture book. Um, Barnes and Noble used to. I don't think they have it in store anymore, but they used to have an intimacy section where you could go and find like books on the Karma Sutra and things like that. Those are good starting point books because a lot of times they have different pictures of positions that you can just kind of look at and be like, hey, I want to try that. Different positions create different sensations and feelings for the woman's body as well as for the men. Missionary, although I need WD 40 for these knees. If I'm about to embark on said mission, and I'm not ashamed to say that, missionary is more pleasurable for women often because it puts you at a particular angle, typically up, where your partner has direct access, thumb or fingers, to your clitoris, and the sensation of the up down when you're bouncing centers you right there at an angle of your G spot. So even if they're not directly pressing on it, they're rubbing up against it. And your partner, again, two fingers or a thumb, is using for your clitoris. So you are getting the sensation both sides, which is why missionary is often told to women as being one of your more pleasurable positions. Um, but beyond that, a lot of times people only know, um, again, missionary, doggy style, which is a fan favorite for a lot of reasons. Um, you know, riding, reverse cowgirl, or just riding face to face. And that's kind of where it ends for a lot of people. Explore, have the conversation with your partner, get the picture book, start pointing positions out. Um, I was telling Nari that what I think I'm going to do moving forward is bring a position a month to introduce. That way, you all can decide that you want to try it or not. Um, in addition to that, I'm going to start introducing a toy a month because toy play with your partner is equally essential as conversation. Um, so have the conversation, communicate what it is that you need, what it is that you want, and start with exploring the possibility. If you know that you like to be choked during sex, have that conversation. If your partner says that makes them nervous, respect that for a second because realistically, that the idea of that can be scary for some people.
Right.
Specifically, if you're a woman who wants to be choked and you're dating a black partner, they could immediately be like, "But wait a minute," because that could be triggering. If something goes wrong, that is scary because now police could be involved or anything
Yep.
like that. So have safe conversations to reassure them. Negotiate scenes um, that you want to try, right? And use words that are your safe words, right? So when something gets out of hand, you know to say pineapples. And your partner is like, okay, that's too much. And they know to back off. Those are okay things when you are trying something new or when you're exploring something new. Um, I assume she's talking about the position today.
Or the toilet they can.
Uh, yeah. Um, you definitely have to slow walk people into certain things, especially if it's something that's
Especially that
brand new to
CNC.
them. You do. I mean,
Terrifying.
you, there
Terrifying.
are things that, you may have to say to a partner, hey, I know I have to say to partners often in spaces. So, what I do for a living, oftentimes I am pouring out a lot of myself to people. I am in control all the time. I am navigating the spaces of dictating what is and what isn't. So there are times in my sexual encounters I don't want to be in charge. I need you to take charge. I don't want you to ask me a lot of things. I need to trust the space that we're in. And we have our safe word for when something is too far. And then you do what I need you to do in that moment. It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if I am dating someone where that's not their twist or that's not something that they're used to, I do have to slow walk them into it to make sure that they're comfortable with the fact that I mean, until I say pineapple, keep going, keep going.
Yeah,
And
because got to be clear on them words, man. Because all that, oh my God, stop, stop, stop. I didn't mean stop. I didn't mean stop. Keep going.
correct, keep going. Um,
I said no, but I didn't mean no. I meant like
and
Florida.
and that's a real thing is that some people get
It
caught up in
is.
the moment of what they're feeling that the word that they're using
Don't
is
make
like
sense to the person.
backwards day.
Yeah,
So, in order to keep everybody safe, having a clear and safe word that you use with your partner is appropriate
yes,
because it creates a level of understanding, a level of safety and security that both people now know if this word is used, I back off. I
immediately.
check in with my partner.
Yep,
I see that everything is okay, what they need, reassure them, whatever that looks like. And then in the reverse, for the person, for men, let's say, you too should have a safe word. Men should
yeah,
also feel safe in the act of sex. So I'm going to use the word also to let you know that I need a second. Something doesn't feel right to me, something feels off. So both people need to have a clear understanding that you both can use the safe word and then you recalibrate.
people don't have
Agreed.
a front conversation about around sex and intimacy. In fact, I was on a podcast episode where that was brought up, and somebody in the chat was like, they don't really like to talk too much about sex with the person they're gonna have sex with beforehand because they feel like it's kind of like, what I mean, overhyping things or putting too much pressure on things, or it kind of takes away from the spontaneity. They kind of just want to do stuff and try stuff and all that. And in a perfect world, you know maybe that can work, but in the real world, the truth of the matter is you don't know what that other person's into, um, without conversation about what they're into. Even trying to talk to a past, sexual partner is not going to give you the entire picture, because what they tried with that partner, they might not try with you. What they didn't try with that partner, they want to try with you. So you got to communicate directly with that partner, because, and I gave the example of, okay. if that's the way it's gonna be, then me and you are in the room, and because you didn't want to ruin the spontaneity or ruin the moment, I go for my, level 3 max, my level 4 max ultra finish, and you're like, whoa, what are you doing? Stop that. Unhand me, sir. And now, you feel violated. I'm frustrated because I don't even get to finish because 9 out of 10 times, if somebody ends up feeling violated mid-session, you don't pick up where you left off.
Correct.
So now that what was this, glorious session is completely ruined and both partners end up leaving unfulfilled, and one person feels violated, and then that can also spill into how that person feels about you going forward to where, like, damn, we was actually in a relationship. And now this girl don't want to be with me no more. Now this guy don't want to be with me anymore. And I just wanted to, hit him with the go-to move. I thought we was at the final level. I wanted to show him I could be the final boss. And I had this move supercharged and ready to go. I thought we was now that person think you a psycho. That person think you a sicko. Now you in the group chat. I can't believe so and so thought they could get away with doing such and such to me. Like, what kind of guy, what kind of girl do they think I am? And and all of that could have been avoided by just being grown-ups. I'm gonna say it all the time when it comes to sex, is that we got to be grown-ups. We got to be grown-ups, man. Especially people around my age. Like, I'm 44. I'll be 44 in March. Like, grow up, man. Grow up. Like, we've
But
been
I think
having too
that's
much sex for too many years to not be able to talk about it
but
beforehand
I think
and get an
that's
understanding.
part of the issue is that no one taught us how to have these conversations beyond the space of having a "so you gonna let me smash" kind of
Yeah.
thing, or "you about to give me some." Nobody knows how to not nobody. A lot of people don't know or understand how to have productive conversations that aren't driving us straight to the bed. It is we are having a conversation about the fact that I'm finna smash tonight and not, hey, so these things are real. I have trauma informed conversations with my partner because what I never want to be is triggered. And then we have a moment now where it's ruined, if you will. You don't know what to do. I'm triggered. And nobody is having any fun anymore. And a lot of people don't have that because they don't know how to have it. They feel like if I have this conversation with this person about any sexual trauma that I have, I'll be judged. I felt that at one point, and now at this age, I'm like, no, I just don't want to be triggered. I don't. I want to avoid the things that are going to trigger me. But that came with a space of understanding that you can have these conversations. It doesn't have to stand on what we about to do right now. It
Right.
is just an informed conversation. And I grew up in a very vocal household on sex. My mom was very open with me. We had age appropriate conversations every year at my birthday about what sex is, what inappropriate touch is, what your body is going through. Um, it is what staved off my curiosity, where, as the adults say, I wasn't listening to my stupid friends, you know.
Okay.
But even in coming from that kind of environment, it still didn't teach me how to have conversations with my partners about my needs.
Yeah.
Also, I had to learn what my needs were, what that looks like for me, and not relying on osmosis and my partner just knowing. Because a lot of times women feel like their partner should know
Should
what to
just
do.
know. Good Lord.
And men too. That let's be honest. A lot of times you all feel like a woman should just know how to perform the act of fellatio on you. But
I
the
say
reality
that's
is,
cool if y'all don't know, as long as y'all willing to follow directions though. Like that's not going to turn the dude off from making that happen. Whereas and vice versa, that might cost you your shot. That might cost you your shot with Shorty. That might get you cut from the team. Whereas in the dude would be like, oh, you don't know how to. Let's go back and train.
so I would also agree that some men aren't as palatable, if you will, as they like to believe they are. I think on both sides is ego. You know,
For
your
sure.
ego at this big age is, are you going to tell me how to do something that I've been doing for all these years? Or my last partner didn't complain about it.
That's the one. That's the one. I never got no complaints. That's the
Right.
one right there.
And so, just as they said, how each person is different, that is very true. Each person is different. So, just because your last partner didn't say, hey, I don't like you sucking on my clit, and like it's a lollipop, I'm telling you that. This is not a neck bone. It is not oxtail. Release me.
Oxtail is crazy.
Let's not act like you don't see the people sucking on the oxtail bone.
It's falling off the boat.
Listen, and we all know them aunties at the Caribbean spots do not give extra gravy.
They sure
So
don't.
I don't even understand why you are treating me as such.
Hey,
So,
it's seasoned well.
yes. Okay, but unhand me. Unhand me, you monster.
uh,
I mean, you know. So it's just, it is about learning each individual person and what their needs are, because my needs may not match your other partner's needs, but also I may be very clear on what it is that I need in that moment, and I'm not exploring it with you versus somebody else may have been exploring with you.
yeah.
And so those are very different spaces that the person or people that you're with are in. So it is very important for us to have these kinds of conversations with our partners so that we can move graciously to the next level in space with them. Um, and I think that some of that comes with also fun help aids, if you will. So I didn't want to spend my whole time talking to y'all about stuff, but I did want to introduce some things that I use personally and that I give as gifts to the people I love who are about to get married or any of the things.
Okay.
Now, let me start this with, I am not endorsing either one of these products per se. One of them especially, I'm not endorsing because they're just not worth it. They're a fraud at this point. So,
Oh shoot.
but I will acknowledge that it was a decent game to play with your partner. So first, if you know me, then you know I love me a good card game with the questions.
Okay.
Black card revoked, Ox God, any of those kinds of games, invite me to your game night because that's my thing. Also, if you don't have them and you invite me to your game night, I'll bring them. That doesn't change with me when it comes to sex with my partner. So I have found on Amazon, the local social media street, any of those places,
Okay.
games that satiate my need for a good card game, question and answer, but also as a little fun to it. Um, Again, I'm not endorsing any of these, but I do encourage you to find them. This one I will tell you the brand. Um, this one is from Pure Romance. It's about I'm not sure how many cards it is. I want to say it's 50 of them that go from asking intimate, sexy questions of your partner to initiating. So I'm just going to give you a couple to kind of get an idea of ways
Okay.
that you can introduce these conversations in fun, um, while still sparking a little sexy time, especially as we go into Valentine's Day.
All
So
right.
this is one of my favorites because people don't talk about it enough. There is just an assumption that you just do it or you have it in one particular place. So, have you ever wanted to have sex somewhere not in the bedroom? And if so, where? So, the reason why this one is my favorite is because oftentimes people assume sex just happens in the bedroom, or they're like, well, duh, we have car sex. Well,
Y'all want to answer
there
that
are other,
question in the chat? Feel free.
please. It's not overly
Go ahead.
personal.
Read
Y'all
it.
can most
Read
certainly.
it again, because they might want you know, what I mean, give them a chance to play along.
Have you ever wanted to have sex somewhere not in the bedroom, and where?
All right,
So,
chat.
I will tell
Feel
you
free to
all
answer.
that one of my favorite toys is um is from the Lush brand, and it is a app based toy for partner play, and you can wear it outside in public. Um and your partner controls it through the app. That room does get boring sometimes. You do need to spice things up again if that's your twist. Um But I absolutely love this particular toy because it is app controlled. So the person doesn't have to be in a room with you. They can be at work and you're at home, you at work and they're at home in another state or across the room. Wherever it is, the app works if the toy is on. And so a lot of times people assume sex is just physical contact, um, or rather intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is a lot of things that we don't consider. Sex is oral sex, literally oral sex. Sex is also masturbation with your partner. And so I've used that toy at restaurants, Dave and Busted, on a plane, and at work. Not in my current job. So don't nobody act like they won't call because not in my current job. But those are places that I have used said toy to spice things up. So this is one of the questions that I do like because it does open the conversation up to your partner. One, to think about something that otherwise you wouldn't talk
Mm-hmm.
about. It would just be, business as usual. And then learning something new that you can try out with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Plus, the answer is a good boundary
this
for
is one that leads me to something. Correct. Correct. Um, this is one that leads us to something that we said earlier. What sex positions have you always wanted to try? This would be the time to look up a position and be like, this looks interesting. I think I want to add this to my repertoire, or this looks interesting. I think I want to try this with you. Um, Outside in the rain. That's a good one. You might catch a cold. Definitely got to come in and warm up afterwards.
right. Can't be out there
But
with
I
your
dig
shirt
it.
on.
I encourage it. I'd watch if I saw it on an onlook. I am a voyeur.
Watch.
I'm a voyeur. I acknowledge it. I will watch. Um, this is another good one. So I
So you're
went
not
through
going to
and
answer the
tagged
question?
a
All
few of
right. Never
these.
mind.
What was the question? The
Oh,
one I just read?
yeah. Well, either one of them. Either one of the cards. that you read?
Well, technically, I did. I said a restaurant at work.
Oh, okay.
I did.
I didn't realize that was a double.
I did. Yeah, I definitely answered that one.
Okay.
Most truthfully, um, what was the other one that I read? A position that I
Position you
wanted to
wanted to
try.
try. Yep.
There aren't many out there anymore that I want to try. Um,
All right, bro.
and no, it ain't that. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to go over some and see if there's any one of them that catch my eye. But I've definitely tried the ones I wanted to try that
I
work
dig
for
it.
me. So also
And
again,
that's what matters.
remembering that, yeah, yeah, because again, I mean, I'm not a T-Rex no more because I lost weight and I'm not baby Shamu. But at one point I was. And so you could not knock me in a pretzel because my stomach would have been like on my forehead. And I gotta breathe. I gotta breathe. So all positions were not for me. Um,
T Rex
you
kills me every
know,
time.
I listen, y'all should have told me I had short arms. Um, but no, really, I had gone on my journey of looking for plus size friendly positions that were pleasurable and um comfortable, pleasurable and comfortable. So I that's why I'm like I don't know that there's any more out there. But that's a challenge. I'm going to introduce next month a position I have not tried.
I didn't answer the question
Um
because I don't have an answer. I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't have no like place in my head like oh yeah, I would just love to have sex here. Like I don't. I don't. Yeah, like I don't have any place that I'm just like boom. That would be perfect. No, no, no. I agree with everyone else. The bedroom can get boring after a while, so you definitely outside of the bedroom. Definitely places outside the bedroom, but I didn't have anything in particular where it's like, yeah, no, I've always wanted to do, it here or wherever. I've had sex in multiple places, so like not even in the house. So you know what I mean. So I don't have any one particular destination of, that I could think of.
okay. Um tell me something that turns you on is another good question to ask. That also again is a part of the card. Um that takes us back to the space of intimacy. It's a very intimate question to ask
Hmm.
your partner, but also to kind of keep it in mind for something that turns you on. It may be something as simplistic as when you take the trash out, having dinner ready, um, when I get home. Those are things that could turn somebody on. And then it could be something like the cologne you wear. So it's not always again something sexual. It genuinely could be something that is very non-sexual, but it does it. And
True
I
indeed.
get it. That's they twist. Um, so I definitely encourage these kinds of cards. That again is kind of mild in the space of intimacy with your partner, how to approach those kinds of conversations. Um, but then it could be something as wild as spend 30 seconds using your breath to tickle your partner's ears, neck, and nipples. But you can't let your lips touch their skin. So this is something that now introduces a level of physicality there
Hmm.
that it's still, you can't put your mouth or hands on them, but this is what you're using. So finding ways to incorporate tools for intimacy, for exploration with your partner is a good way to go. Um, Next month, I'm going to introduce a little bit of toy play with you all. Um, I'm actually going to start with men's toys first because that's something that's not talked about enough.
This is true.
Um, a lot of times men be like, if I got a toy, what I need a
What I
woman
need
for?
her for, yeah.
To use the toy with you. Yeah. To use the toy with you. Yeah, that's it. Um,
And a lot of
so
women
I'm
don't
going
want
to
to admit
introduce a couple of
that
those.
they're not as comfortable with men having toys as they like men to believe.
That I would agree with that. For me personally, please, you want me to buy it for you. How many of them do you need? It's not a direct challenge to what I can do at all.
This is true.
It just is a help aid. Um, there are a lot of toys that women can use with their partners as a help aid for oral sex. If you have a partner that is really girthy or extremely large in length and girth, you can't get all that in your mouth all the time. I'm not challenging nobody's throat game,
Shout out to
but
the goats.
practicality, right? Shout out to the goats. Every last one of you all. Thank you for tutorials and then some. Um, but for those that can't, get it all in there, if you will. It's a tight squeeze. Toys help with that, so that your partner still has something covering the majority of his shaft while you're able to focus on the part that you can get in there. Um, so we are
Emoji.
going to
I don't know why it
listen.
cracked me up.
They need all their flowers,
They do.
all
They
their
do.
flowers, every last one of them.
They do.
Thank you all for opening the doors for the rest of us, for the classes that you all taught in college for little old me,
One time for the goats.
for the girlfriends that you pulled along and the marriages you saved. We appreciate you. Yeah, y'all don't get enough flowers. So that is what we're going to talk about next month is toys and toys for men and women and how to incorporate them in play with your partner. A lot of times we think about toy play in a solo endeavor, but toy play with your partner is fun. It takes a lot of the guesswork out, um, and it helps to get you further along with the use of. So that's kind of be going to be what we focus on next month. I'm going to pull out my box of toys, ones that are unused, um,
Fair enough. Clarification.
just so we're clear. Um, and so, yeah, we're going to explore all the toys together next month. So, definitely, if you have little ones in the room, that may not be the time to have them in there because it'll be a bit of show and tell. But yes, so with all that said, I hope that you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope that you all incorporate communication with your partner as we go into this love day so that you are what? Not faking orgasm. And you are able to communicate with your partner what it is that you need, what it is that you desire, and what it is that you need from them to help you get there in feeling safe and secure in those spaces. That goes out to the men and the women. And I challenge you once again, once your partner has the conversation with you, that you don't make them feel uncomfortable, that they withdraw.
Right.
We are learning to open the doors of communication so that we can all feel comfortable in our sexuality and in the spaces that we want to grow in. So stop faking orgasms and communicate with your partners.
I couldn't have said it better myself. We appreciate. Let's turn the cracks up. We appreciate. Pause on that. We appreciate another grown sex ed segment episode with Miss Tom. We appreciate her knowledge. We appreciate her candor. We appreciate her willingness to create a safe space for these conversations. Um, because they need to be had. As she said, so many of us have lived the majority of our lives without being able to have these conversations openly, even us men. Like, you kind of end up only having these conversations either with, your best home girl, or maybe the girl who you're sleeping with, who really knows a lot or is really comfortable having these conversations. But the majority of us, is you're not having these conversations with your bros. Let's be honest. Like, you don't want to know what gets your bro off. You don't. You don't. So, a lot of us are getting miseducated, got a miseducation, as she said, from our stupid friends when we were young. From the videos, the 3 for 10s, shout out to West Coast Productions and Black Ice, you know what I'm saying? And other people who we overheard, or rooms that we unfortunately walked in on. Um, at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily help make you the most productive and healthy individual when it comes to seeing about your sexual needs. And here in this community, we want us to be, as healthy as possible. We want us to be as whole as possible. And we're not going to sit up here and pretend like sex don't matter. Shout out to everybody on a, abstinence jersey or celibacy journey. But at the end of the day, for those who fitting to get some, want to get some, trying to get some, there's, or are getting some and would like to enjoy it to its fullest, there's some work that has to be done. So thank you once again for Ms. Time for helping us have this space and to help us become uh, more comfortable with it, on top of being more knowledgeable, because these things matter, right? Right. Thank you all for tuning in. I should have said it earlier, but of course, if you are still with us and made it this far, that means you either learned something or you been having fun. Either way, smack that like button. If you are not as a lifer already subscribed, I ain't gonna hold it against you as so long as you subscribe before we finish this episode. And of course, um, if you liked what you heard, share it. Somebody will be able to use, especially if somebody has been having some conversations, they're not necessarily satisfied. Go ahead and share it with them and tell them come back next month um, as we go further in these conversations. We'll be doing this for the entirety of season 5. Or at least as long as we'll be able to get Miss Time to come through, okay? Because life be life. She might get busy and might have some other stuff to do. So I'll borrow her for as long as she'll allow. Pause. That being said, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I definitely hope you guys enjoy your weekend. For those participating in Love Day in whatever ways that is, I hope you get the most out of it. We hope you get the most out of it. We hope you enjoy it thoroughly. Um, and definitely, of course, take the time to love yourself, most importantly. Um, as I always say, with fact, before that, shout out to A.C.E, brother who he's always be. Shout out the uh to the sponsor of the Two Kings 215 and Life Be Life and podcasts, Miss Keish with the Cakes, the owner of Simply Nishay Catering, and Denver's mom. Um,
Who
also,
still owe me turkey wings?
she owe me some turkey too. Pause. But I need a platter from her as well. She ain't made none in a while, so I'm gonna stall her out. But I'm with you on that. I need my mac and cheese, and I need them turkey wings. I definitely
I'm
do.
telling you. I'm gonna be doing 100 on the highway.
Well, for sure, we gotta push up for that. Um, anything else? Oh yeah, and of course, as I said earlier, for those who might not have caught it earlier, uh, me as part of Podcast Link Philly. Uh, I was part of a collaboration with the Yo Cuts podcast. If you've been catching me on Fridays, I've been with those brothers out in DC, collaborating, making good content. We both as teams combined had some great content, two different panels, a lot of fun. It's already live on the Mr. Know It All Network on YouTube. Please go ahead over there. Also, I was on episode 221 of the Mr. Know It All podcast. So if you rock with your boy like that, man, you just finished watching this episode, go over there, watch me on episode 221. Watch the collaboration that me and Podcast Link Philly did with Yo Cuz Podcast. And catch me the next time that Yo Cuz Podcast and I get together for Lit Fridays. You heard? Take care of yourself. As I always say, be smart, be respectful, be patient. Be kind to as many people as you possibly can. I know some people make that impossible, but don't worry about those people. Just make sure every single day you're doing something to be kind to yourself, whatever that looks like, whatever that means, because you cannot pour out of an empty cup. We appreciate you guys. We love y'all. We want the best for y'all. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Lit Fridays. Miss Tommy will see you guys in personal, I guess, visually. You'll see her next month for her next segment. But then you might catch her in the chat because she's a lifer too. You know what I'm saying? So again, y'all have a great night. Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, stay dangerous. We love y'all. And we are gone.